sure. I'm so happy that Gene just came in. Or Zep, are we ready to roll?
Recording's ready, but the timer, I'm getting it. Give me 1 second.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll take the extra time then.
Yeah.
Dang. I'll praise Gene so much for the amazing work that he did to get the TE Commons and Giveth involved in the retroactive funding with Optimism, both of which received major funds. So thank you so much for that, Gene. I want to praise Mount Manu for the incredible gravity workshop that he did. I've heard so much great words about that from various people. So well done, well done. I want to praise, of course, Marco, Craig, Jess, Santi, and oh no, who else are we offboarding? All the stewards that just got offboarded. That really contributed so much to the TEC in all this time. They made us what we are today, and so it was really great to recognize them. I want to praise Tam and Livia for organizing the offboarding setup because that was really beautiful. And I love how we work as a DAO, and that was a great example of it. Really a shining star example of it that many, I think, groups will use. I want to praise Septimus for always recording the calls and making the timing happen. And like that offboarding call is a call that I will share with many people because it was really fantastic. I want to praise Mitch and Lauren and Septimus for hosting and Wonka for hosting so many Param parties. And I want to praise Lauren for getting Kernel, getting me a cameo in Kernel, so I could shill Pram parties to like 70 interested contributors. And I'll pass it to Tam.
I'm half ready, but I'm going to go for it. I'd like to praise Aparnaloct, Austin Griffith, Jenny Pollock, the badge holders in Optimism that voted for the TEC. I'd like to praise Gene for taking the initiative to submit a application for us that got some votes. I'd like to praise Manu for his leadership course and all the cool initiatives that I see him taking on. This idea of like a personal development, self-development groups, it's really, really cool. I'd like to praise Acid Laser for the Steward Co-op. Year of the Hatch. I'd like to praise Taxel for so many good conversations, and after every call I have a list of things that I need to follow up on and go check out. I'd like to praise Gideon for his amazing work in everywhere, and especially with the partnership that he just shared. And was that the timer?
Yeah.
I'll pass to Durgadas.
Yeah, I'm really bad at super specific praise, but as always, Wonka, I barely ever know what's happening in this place, so it's hard for me to praise people specifically. I'm just continuously inspired by the culture of the place, and that's why I keep showing up. And so there's everyone who's in this call and everyone who we just offboarded are responsible for that. And so, maybe it's a bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to just try to make everyone aware that
cliffhanger.
Rage quit. No. Well, let's throw it to you, Nate, to continue. Oh no, Durgadas is back. Durgadas, you're back.
Random. It's just like close and reopen. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of praising, but yeah, and always Wonka, who's over this time has become my friend, and Manu for his excellent work, and I think we'll be able to work together soon. So that's very beautiful. And I was always Griff for his super positive attitude, and Livy, you two are like the mom and dad of this group, so that's great. And Tam for always holding down the fort on keeping everybody. You're like the keel of the whole TEC, and I guess I'll pass it to Nate.
Thanks, Durgadas. Yeah, I want to praise Acid Laser for all the design work that you do for all of our PO-ops and just in communications in general. It's an amazing amazing work that you do. I want to praise Gideon for the amazing document that you've put together for partnerships in the TEC Scouts. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's amazing, worth a read. I want to praise Tam for organizing all of the offboarding, all of the Stewards initiatives. You do such an amazing job getting this and keeping us on track. I want to praise Gene for getting us notoriety and a little bit of money. So I appreciate that, Gene. It's pretty amazing. I want to praise Olivia for all of the challenging work that comes with the TEC SoftGov. It's a challenging thing that you do, and it's like walking on a light string. So it's just kind of insane what you're able to do. I want to praise Wonka and Manu and everybody who has contributed to the Graviton work training. You guys have been doing an amazing job. The attendance has been absolutely phenomenal. And I want to praise Zepti, Lauren, Griff, Mitch, Nuggin, for all of the work you guys have been doing with the Param parties. It's just phenomenal. And I want to praise Chewy for all the initiatives that you've got going with the comms and the comms DAO, TEAM, baby. Let's go. And then I'll pass it to Lauren.
Hey everyone. I want to praise Griff for showing the TEC and the kernel call today and getting more people looking at the dashboard. I want to praise Manu for the gravity training session on leadership. I want to praise Wonka, Zepti, and Mitch for leading Params parties. And I want to extra praise Mitch for doing all the organizing of the schedules for the Params parties. I want to praise Olivia for pushing through and trying to come to Costa Rica despite obstacles, and you're going to make it here, and I hope you make it here soon. And I want to praise Pedro, Vitor, Griff, Mitch, Nug, and Fabio, Marco, and Mosadi for pushing forward on dashboard fixes and updates. And I'll pass it to David.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to praise Chewy for being an amazing leader and patriarch figure to the comms group, the team's DAO. I want to praise Ivy for transitioning out of the Twitter role into a new chapter in her life. I want to praise BFA for joining the TEC. It's a lot of acronyms. I want to praise Zero for stepping up to help out in the comms group. I want to praise Gideon Rowe for appearing in the TEC. At one time you were a name on my screen, and now you're a living, breathing image that I love to see around. So praise Gideon for that. I'm so glad you joined the community. And praise Wonka for the Gravity DAO work. I'd like to become a part of that DAO. And praise Lauren for Twitter over at Giveth. Awesome job. You are a one-woman powerhouse. And did I hear a timer somewhere? No. Well, I think it's close enough anyways. I'll pass it over to Zepti.
Thanks. Yeah, the timer might not be working good. Yeah, I want to give praise to Mitch, Tam, Livy, Ivy, and myself for all the discussion around the multisig. I want to give praise also to Tam, Juan, and YGG for getting recordings like every week, like Comunitas, Gravity, Labs. Like, yeah, this is so much helpful. So thank you guys. So I don't have to join all the calls. Yeah, thank you. I also want to give praise to Nate, Mitch, and Livy and Griff for like every time putting the knowledge on every political aspect, and having experience from other projects, or I don't know, it feels so much wisdom that you guys share. And I want to give praise to all the Params team, Lauren, Mon, Manu, Vitor, Fabio, Pedro. This like Griff, Mitch, like this tool is amazing. And yeah, thank you. I'll pass it to Bianca.
Hello, everyone. I want to praise for Juanca for the training, the gravity training. That's been awesome. And for Manu for the last session about leadership. It was amazing. And for Edu and Tim for the orientation call this week that I was there. And it was very cool to see what everyone do kind of thing. And I'm really happy about it. And I can pass to... I don't know.
I can pass for you. Let's throw it to Acid Laser.
Thanks, Crypt. So I want to praise Juanca and Monmanu for their work at the last Graviton session. for all the work she made at Comms and all her contributions to the community. We will miss her at Twitter. Tam for her initiative at making the Stewards pop. Livia and Katarina because we are the best infographics team. Eduardo for all the love he's put into Comunitas. And Zero for doing it very well at Twitter management. And I pass it to Mitch.
Thank you. Got my list here. Always praise to the people working hard on the development on the CCD. So Pedro, Fabio, Vitor, and Nuggin. You know, rapid fire QA, and they're just responding like lightning bolts. Praise Griff for being the #1 QA tester on the CCD, the config dashboard. I'd like to praise Zeptimus, Tam, myself, Griff, Livy, and many others for just untangling this whole buy-in debate thing and pushing it forward. I'd like to praise Gene for the retroactive public goods funding optimism proposal. Praise to Livy for proposing the snapshot parameters. And praise to Chewy, Juan, Lauren, Griff, Septimus, Nug, and myself for hosting Param parties this week. And praise reward system team, all of you, okay? Damn it. I'll pass it to Benz.
Hey, can you hear me all right? All right, I don't have a ton. Praise to Manu, Dargadas, and Wonka for the work on the gravitons. Thank you and praise to Edu for the direct message, giving me a heads up on getting to a Param party this week. And praise to all the people hosting Param parties. Haven't made it yet, but there's so many. I'm hoping I'll get one tomorrow. So thank you all.
I can pass it for you. How about BFA?
Yeah, I think I would like to praise Zero for awesome stuff he's doing in the TEC. Praise David and for the awesome work. Edu too as well. I mean, I've a couple of some of the meeting up on this space. I've met Edu. Awesome stuff for the coordination. I want to praise Grave, Lauren, Livia too. Livia and Dogadas. Yes, I think Dogadas. Yeah. I think I would like to pass it to Livia.
Thank you. I want to praise Nuggin, Christopher, Vivi, Chewy, Ryder, Mateo for accepting to join the reward system committee so far. And I want to praise Tim for being such a rock, I have no words actually, for helping so much in every front. I want to praise Edu for all the stepping up he's doing with the Comunitas and for being so welcoming and so thoughtful with the community. I want to praise Vivi for being a bot hero. Like, everything is possible in his hands. I want to praise Chewy for being so steady and comms and for being present everywhere. I really appreciate the inputs you give in your comm in all of the calls. I want to praise Manu for the incredible leadership presentation, Lauren, Griff, Mitch, Juanca, Nuggin for hosting Param parties, Acid Laser and Katarina for making beautiful progress with the decision-making visuals. Praise Pedro for accepting to jump into the Snapshot Quadratic Ranked Choice Voting Challenge. And praise Durgadas for always being around and bringing so much knowledge and not being tired of bringing all of he has, even though we don't listen sometimes like immediately, but it stays in my mind and I really appreciate that. And I'll pass to David.
David already went. How about I throw it over to Gideon?
Okay, Eduardo, I praise Eduardo for his leadership in the Comunitas group. He's been so great, and also for all of his welcoming he does to this community. If you see all the people he's bringing in and just helping to, it's been really nice. To Chewy for his great advice this week for me one-on-one. To Tam for continuously showing just really great judgment and her feedback. The things I see just always just like spot on. I love it. To Nate for helping me to kind of find my way with the TEC Scouts work. And then to Griff, actually, for yesterday for a great Params party. That was super cool. I pass it to Gene.
Thank you, sir. I praise Ms. Lauren for the Commons Simulator, which is awesome, and the brilliant Twitter thread for Giveth, and praise Griff and Lauren for attending the optimism call so that any of that happened, because they really showed for it and made it actually receive votes we wouldn't have otherwise. Praise Ms. Tam for her patience with me and explaining the function of the DAO when I really don't understand things, and she's kind enough to take time to explain it to me. Praise Edu for Comunitas leadership and for being so kind to me and letting me help out. Awesome. And pass to I might have been the last person. Chewy. Pass to Chewy.
Chewy, you want to take it?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. Thanks, Gene. Okay, so Gene, first of all, for the Optimism RPGF, and your achievement here is just like undescribable. Like, wow, thank you, and lots of praise for you. Griff, because your presence in this Optimism list speaks for itself. Your Bankless podcast was epic. Lots of respect. Manu for the last Graviton training. Ivy, Acid Laser, and Zero for their working comms. Tam and Levy for the beautiful Steward offboarding. Jess and Marco because their vision keeps shaping the comms working group until this day. And yeah, I'll type in the rest of it. And Juanca was missing. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to praise Aloysius, Ryder, and Stefano for delivering the POAPs of the Graviton training. I would like to praise Durgadas for all of his contribution in Gravity. Like so many frameworks, so many deep ideas, and so many great ideas that I see a great path to follow. Mount Manu for his presentation of this week's Graviton training. Acid Laser for the designs. Septimus, Ivy, and Zero for all the work in transparency, and Ivy and Zero doing some hand-to-hand work to transition. Mitch for coming to Colombia on the end of November, and giving a talk here in our community. Nick for the onboarding dashboard. I think it was really great. Chewy, because he is not only very present here in the TC, but very present in other communities. And yeah, I would also like to praise David for continuing to be here, even though he has other responsibilities. So yeah, I think
there's one more person left.
Is it
It's
Mitch?
08.
Mitch got it. Mitch got it.
Thanks for remembering me. So I want to start praising David, Ivy, Juanca for their amazing commons work, and the amazing guidance they always give me. Praise BFA for joining the TAC and also being an amazing human. Praise Chewy, Griff, Liviade, Tam, Natsu, Septimus, and Lauren for being our mentors and spreading their amazing vibes. praise Mount Manu, Durgadas, and Gideon for being our spiritual leaders and guides. Praise Bianca, Edu, Jean, Mitch, Benz for being incredible members of the TAC. And sorry if I don't really know all the stuff that you do. And also a special praise for Acid Laser for his really amazing designs. Like your designs are like really great and trend resistant. They're great. So yeah.
And I actually forgot Eduardo. I had him on the list to pass after Chewy, but Chewy passed. So yeah, Eduardo, go for it.
It's okay. I want to just praise to Uncle Bibim, Isa, Christian, Angie Berry, Bianca, Arvin D, Lutzar, Red Casal, Ossicross, Satchel, Tigoroid, Malmanu, Livia, Ham, Septimus, Shui, and Skamau, and 5IV for joining the orientation call yesterday. It was really nice. I want to just praise to Lutzar for a nice 101 that we had on Monday. I want to just praise to Mitch for the 101 Param party we had that no one else assisted but me and him. That was really nice. I want to dish praise to Willie Fox, actually. He is keeping an eye on our community, even though he's not participating. He sends his regards to everyone. I want to have a huge praise. Ivy, please consider this a double praise to Jean for submitting Optimism proposal and for actually winning us money, and it's really nice. And I want to dish praise finally to Lauren for having conversations async while everyone is talking in the meetings. We talk about breakfast and send gifts to each other, so it's always nice to have that. Back to you, Griff.
That was beautiful. That was a beautiful praise session. Thank you all so much. And welcome to the community call number 56. Oh my gosh, we're getting so old. So praise is happening all the time, 24/7 in our Discord channels. Actually, you can praise in any channel, but we do hang out in the praise channel for the praising. But you can praise in any channel, and you should praise all the time. Give the praise. It's so much fun. Don't forget, we have $1.5 million just sitting around somewhere. That's cool. And also, don't forget that we have to make sure that we have the best community that exists, period. And the way we do that is if you see something, say something. If you feel some awkwardness between two people, or someone's getting someone's name wrong, or someone is just being mean or something, to someone, and hurting someone's feelings are hurt, and you hear about it. We have a SWAT team, the Gravity. We have these awesome Gravity calls, and they don't get enough work. I know that there's opportunities for them in this community, and so if you can see something that they can help out with and repair a tension that is within the community, report it in this type form. It's super quick, and then they'll behind the scenes it'll just get patched up, and no one has to know it even happened. Decisions happen after advice process. Advice process is the other core foundational principle of this, one of the foundational principles of this community, because with advice process, we can stay flat. So if you are making a decision, we're a swarm. Lots of people have lots of responsibilities. When you're making big decisions, tell the people who will be affected by that decision about it before you settle on a path. It's really important, this before part. Really be open and be like, okay, I have to decide something. Who's going to be affected by this? Who are the experts that have had experience with this in the past? Go talk to them and see what they think. And then they're going to have conflicting opinions. It's okay. It's still your decision to be made. But once you have that advice, you can make a really good one and have arguments about why you went that way. So it just makes everything so easy. And I try to add one of mission, vision, values to this every call today. It's vision. Remember, our vision for the TEC is to enable the creation of ethical, safe, resilient, and diverse economic systems to benefit societies around the world. That's what we're here to build. So let's see how we're going to do it. And corralling all of us into this, making this vision possible, is always the steward of stewards, Tam. And Tam, maybe you can give us some updates.
Yeah, cool. So the Spotlight is on hiatus. We're trying to figure out what's the right balance of how much time we use for each working group. So we're going to give it the best shot. But I'm going to say I feel like I got a lot to share today, but I'll try to get through it relatively quickly. So we are in the middle of Sprint 21. For this slide, I just want to make sure everyone knows that they are invited to the meetings that we host. It's all on the TEC calendar, and we'll jump right into slide number 2. And for that, I'll share my screen. Here we go. So the first thing is, we have an open letter to all hatchers to make sure that everyone that is a hatcher knows that we've raised these funds, and now's the time to actually build our economy. I think everyone knows that the dashboards are live and the parties are back. The key takeaway that I think all hatchers need to have is that there are some dates that are our target dates, but we're moving towards these dates, and the more participation we have, the more successful we'll be. Eduardo, myself, and some other stewards are sending this message individually to each hatcher. So there's actually a lot of work in Comunitas right now, personally reaching out to every hatcher and engaging them. The next thing, what's next on my list? The Stewards Council. Okay, so the Stewards Council was really dedicated to offboarding, the first offboarding of stewards. We've had stewards offboard themselves, and this time we've offboarded a number of stewards who has a lot more attention in other communities, or doing great things outside, or needed some personal time, but aren't really active in the TEC anymore. And I'm going back to, part of this was initiated by this idea of us having a stipend, a monthly stipend for stewards. So making sure that we can differentiate between the active stewards who are actively stewarding and the stewards who are not stewarding so much anymore. And it is Craig and Marco, Santi, Sem, Suga, and Jess. Santi and Marco were able to participate in our offboarding today. Sem would like us to have an offboarding party after the Commons configuration, after the Commons upgrade is done. So I think I will be flying to Barcelona to make sure that party happens, and everyone's invited to Sem's offboarding. I'd like to give praise to Acid Laser for designing this amazing co-op. TEC Stewards for 2021. We made sure we got it out before we offboarded, and that way every steward will have this as a keepsake, and as knowing that they're the old G's of the TEC is very cool. So sort of like a parting gift, although it's definitely going to all stewards right now. And Livia for creating this beautiful dedication to all of the stewards and making sure that we've praised and appreciated and respected everyone that's been offboarded. What else can I share? What else? Okay, what's on Stewards' mind this week? I wonder if you want to take this, the initial buy-in. Do you want to describe the conclusion and the actions that people need to take, Mitch? Oh, is Mitch here?
I am here. Yes.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. So basically, resulting from the Stewards call yesterday, I appended the initial buy-in proposal with some important details. So we're going to be doing a nomination process that's going to last until end of day Monday, Costa Rica time. It's all in the forum post there. So you're going to be nominating a set of 7 people. Okay, those 7 people are going to be on the laser tag multi-sig, whose sole job is to push the button that enforces the will of the community. So when a proposal comes in and it passes, that multi-sig is just going to be that last step there that basically executes the transaction. So those of you who are nominating a set of 7, you're going to be in charge of making sure every single person of those 7 have agreed to sit on to the multi-sig. The requirements for being nominated to be on the multi-sig are that you have to hold TEC tokens, TECH tokens, and that you need to be able to respond to a signature request. So in order to sign to execute a transaction within 24 hours. So that's it. Sets of 7. You have until end of day Monday to do it. The people need to hold TEC, and they need to be able to respond within 24 hours. And the snapshot vote that we're going to be doing to decide which set of 7 wins, we'll be using quadratic voting. And And any other questions, just go on the forum. If you'd like to break your nomination, add it via comments onto the forum. And yeah, that's great. Hopefully come Monday, we can start pushing this forward.
Cool. Yeah, please. So I have a nomination, sort of an original nomination that I did before we started delving into how nominations should happen, which I guess is still the same nomination I have. And Livia has a nomination, but I'd really encourage everyone to please, please, please nominate a group of 7 that you think would be great multi-stakeholders in the TEC. There's no limit to there's no minimum amount of TEC tokens that you have to hold. It's really everyone in our community that it's open for. Thanks, Mitch. That was awesome. The other thing that happened in our counts, oh yes, okay, what else is on our minds? Okay, we found out, I think it's actually Edu that brought it to our attention, that we were one of the winners of the Optimism retroactive public good funding. The TEC was actually in ETHCC in Paris when we watched Vitalik Buterin's talk about retroactive public good funding. And 3 months later, we're one of the recipients of this. It's, I believe, Karl Florash and Vitalik Buterin who has this idea. I think Karl Florash is the founder, is maybe the right word, of Optimism Rollup. And so I think it's, we ended up, I want to say we're number 57, a little over $3,000, $3,667. But really, that's not the point. The point is that we're being seen for the value that we bring, and this list is full of legends. So I feel like this is legendary for the TEC, and it's the one of the first step of many big things to come. If you're interested about retroactive public goods funding, Optimism has this Medium article about it. This was the idea and the concept sort of back in July of what they were hoping to achieve. Maybe I'll just read out the core principle behind the concept of retroactive public goods funding. Is it simple? It's easier to agree on what was useful than what will be useful. I also recommend Vitalik's talk at the ETHCC, which is online as well. And then there's just the announcement of this experiment of actually having badge holders, a closed list of badge holders who are voting on what was actually useful. All right, mark your calendars now. The next Token Academy's Introduction to Token Engineering happens on November 11th. And there is this sign up link here, which you can click on to sign up. The next one will be December 15th. And lastly, a little pump for one of our stewards, Griff. Did anyone ever hear of this little podcast called Bankless? Does this guy look familiar to anyone? Our own Griff Green was on the podcast Layer Zero. It's pretty extraordinary stories that he tells there. If you haven't seen it, I learned so much. I've known Griff for a year, and I learned so many things that I've never known about him before. This is a very cool Genesis story, a very cool rebel story, and hippie story too. There's many things. I am predicting it is a movie. This will be a movie. This story is too good not to be a Hollywood blockbuster, and my imagination. I mean, and you can say that you've heard it here first. So with that, I'm going to pass to Juan Carlos and Gravity.
Thanks, Tam. Well, in Gravity, we are doing great. The 7th Graviton training, we did it this week, and Manu led it, and we talked about leadership. And next week, we will be talking, in the 9th of November, we will be talking about the Gravity Deep Dive. What's the Gravity Deep Dive? Like, we have been studying until now that there are different conflict management practices, that there are different ways that a leader should behave, and we have been talking also about the importance of organizational structures. And in this next session, we will be talking about the processes we are proposing. because we could have proposed different ways of approaching conflict and different narratives, but we will deep dive on what are the processes that we are trying to promote with the name of gravity. And yeah, I am super excited and super happy about how this training has been going, because I really like how different points of view from the facilitators have opened up the spectrum of the dialogue that we have in these calls, and also how we understand conflict, and how we also it's important to prevent it, and how this is a day-to-day practice. And yeah, I'm happy. So yeah, that a lot of people is coming to the Graviton trainings. Maybe there's a little bit of delay with delivering the POAPs, but everything will be delivered, so that after the training we have a new cohort of Gravitons that may not be all professional mediators, but there will be people who is competent on managing conflict and competent also in preventing conflict from the culture. And that's like, for me, that's the value. Not only having people who to professionally mediate, but also just having a more competent community in this kind of skills. And complementary to the Graviton training, we are having the NBC book club that is right after this call. And I really like this NBC book. I know that if you haven't come to the earlier chapters, you might feel shy to come, but please don't. Like, we are all the time talking about like what have we learned from the book, and you can listen to us, and we will also make like a brief description of what was said in the chapter. So yeah, that's super interesting. And today we will be talking about how to request things that would enrich life, because sometimes we want to say something and we end up having the contrarily opposite response that what we intended. So that happens to all of the time, to us all of the time, and it's important to know how to make requests and how to express ourselves, so that what we intended gets heard by the other person. And now we are using ZenHub to coordinate, and we are also joining some of the tea lounges that are on Fridays, 1 hour before the tea lab, so everyone is invited to join. And yeah, I will pass it to Common Swarm.
That's me, and all I can do is vouch for, like, don't feel like you have to read the book to go to these book club calls. They're really just fun to listen to, and you get a sneak peek into a book and what people are impacted by it and what stood out to them. So it's kind of like your own personal Cliff Notes. So it's really fun, and you don't want to miss it. As far as Common Swarm, we meet every Monday. Who knows what time anymore, because time zones are crazy. But like, we meet on Monday in the One Hive Discord. And the major updates: new version of EVM CRISPR. We're at 0.2.3, which is really cool. And lots of updates that came mostly from our work here at TEC, because we discovered some major issues with EVM CRISPR, specifically being able to create a vote that can't pass. That's just a bad idea. We should make sure that doesn't happen. So that functionality is not complete in EVM CRISPR, but some of the things that we need to get done inside EVM CRISPR are complete and added in. And we were finally, it took 3 votes, but we finally were able to burn the TECH tokens that were held by lost addresses. And so all those votes got enacted successfully, and EVM CRISPR will be updated so this stuff doesn't happen again, which is really great. Definitely a forward move for the betterment of all XDAI DAOs. And also the big work that the Common Swarm is building towards is so that we can all demo what we're parameterizing, the final outputs of our parameterization. So It's basically two things that need to be fixed. First, we had an audit on the ABC, on the augmented bonding curve, and we have closed, I think it's 14 out of 16 issues. So just 2 more issues that are holding out and that we got to close. One of them was really critical, actually, and may have been a bug in all Aragon bonding curves that exist. So very cool to find that. And the gardens front end, making it so that what OneHive has for all gardens, so that it can work with XDAI inside the common pool. That's the other task, and I want to give extra special shout out to Fabri and Gabby from the Garden Swarm, who are helping us make all that super easy for everybody. And that's pretty much it from Common Swarm. We're just chugging away, and hopefully we'll get a demo out in the next couple of weeks so everyone can play. And I'll pass it to SoftGov. Livia?
Thanks, Griff. Yeah, so we meet every Tuesday, and also the reward systems group meets every Wednesday. We changed the time now. Used to be Thursday, but now it's Wednesday at 8 p.m. Europe time. I think this is the right time with the time change. So more people from the West Coast could join us. And main things that came from yesterday's call was this challenge that for members to join the reward systems, we need to have verification systems. So we need one person to be verified, have a verified account on Telegram, on Discord, GitHub, Twitter, have their Ethereum wallet addresses. So having that seems like a problem, but then a pretty cool possible solution came out. That is, what if we transform praise into an identity system, and all of this user verifications could be tied to praise that can offer a proof of existence and of value alignment with the project. Because if people are praising you for something you do, it's because your contributions are being valued in the community and they're probably aligned. So we were discussing how to move forward with that direction, if that's something that's not like crazy to do. And we discussed a little bit the rewards committee. So now just waiting for everyone that was nominated to answer if they want to be a part of it. And then the next step would be to have a call and go through all the responsibilities. This is going to be a paid role. So very interesting, the structure we are creating. And I think it will be really cool to see that in action. And the rest, as we move on. And snapshot params. We have 2 hours left to vote on this proposal still. It's very much likely that passed, only if a bunch of people come in now and be like, no, I don't want this, that it wouldn't pass. But it seems like we have the snapshot params. So what this means is that we have three use cases for snapshot that are large impact community voting, community signal, and runoff votes from token log. So that's also how the decision-making process for a token log now in the Commons upgrade is going to work, is that we're going to go through all the process on token log, and that's a curation tool that will give us the best options for us to move forward with the runoff vote on snapshot. And then we're going to use ranked choice voting for selecting those proposals there until we have a clear winner. And the ranked choice voting we're going to use is a quadratic ranked choice voting. So we're going to get everyone's token holdings and divide it to the square root, and then use that result to mint new tokens. And everyone will vote with this new minted tokens that will work just for this voting round. And then we're working with Pedro to find a more permanent solution and create a new voting type one snapshot so we can use quadratic voting and quadratic ranked choice voting. And then there is an update about the governance give back proposal, that it's not going to be fully implemented before the Commons upgrade as we had thought when submitting the proposal, because it's too much work and it feels like something complicated to do now when so many of the dev team energy should be going towards the launch and finalizing everything we need to be ready for the Commons upgrade and for us to start our economy. So the good news is that conviction voting smart contracts are going to be upgraded soon, in Griff's words. So it will be easier to configure all that in the future. And until then, we should have some more clarifying results too, because the reward systems research group is going to be looking into that, the separation of financial and voting power from tokens. And we'll probably have some insights to look for the best solution when it's the time to implement that. And with that, I'll pass to Eduardo with Comunitas.
Thank you, Libby. Key points of the Comunitas working group: we gather 2-3 times a week if you consider orientation. We gather our weekly sync, which is Mondays 8 p.m. CET, 2 p.m. AEST. Weekly sync, we basically talk about the new things that we will do in community building for this community. Everyone is welcome. If you want to know about onboarding, if you want to know about outreaching and so on, you're welcome to join this call. It's open as most of the calls of the TEC. Then we have orientation call on Wednesday, 6 p.m. CET, 9 a.m. PST. Orientation call. It's an amazing call. We are getting better at it. And the idea is that we welcome you. We welcome everyone who is new or not new. Someone who has questions. Someone who joined a month ago and couldn't attend before. Everyone is welcome to orientation call. And it's a nice place to also meet other people. It's a nice place to also meet other stewards who joins the call. And if you want to straight away ask questions, might as well. And then we have TEC Lounge, which is Fridays, 5 p.m. CET. TEC Lounge, it's, as Juanca mentioned, it's a space that welcomes also everyone to talk about yourself or talk about the movie that you saw last week. And the idea is we just share a little bit about each other and we sort of strengthen the bond in between the community. And then basically, even though this week it looks like we don't have too much going on in Comunitas, it's quite the other way around. We have a bunch of stuff going on. We have sort of finalized the first draft, final version of our onboarding journey. And we are hoping to implement it in the following weeks. So most of you who are already here on the server won't see much difference, just probably a few changes on the menus at your left. But that's it. But for the new members, there will be a bunch of new stuff. And mainly, we will have more information to adequate guide people through our community. That's the main intention of this journey. And then we are also, as I mentioned, doing the outreach to Params parties. Thank you, Benjamin, for joining after receiving the message. The idea is that we send the message to Hatchers, 223 people. We'll receive a message letting them know that we actually have the Params parties alongside the calendar. And then we also want to low-key praise the Bankless podcast. We have had more than 8 people joining our server. Thank you for the podcast and thank you to Griff. So I haven't heard it, but whatever you said was impact this 8 and plus people. So thank you for that. And then here in the screenshot that you see on the slideshow, that's the 14 people who show up for orientation call yesterday. Is the highest number I have recalled for orientation call. So thank you everyone who joined the call. It was amazing, new people. And especially Arvin, thank you so much for your tweet today about the orientation call. It really warms my soul. So thank you for that. And then we are still gonna send the funding proposal. We haven't had any update this week on that, but probably next week will be finished. And that's pretty much all for this week. We look forward to see you all. And if you have any question, if you got lost in Discord, if you didn't find a link or you saw a link, or you need a one-on-one session to sort of try to understand what we do here, send me a message and then we can coordinate to accomplish that. So that will be all for us. And with that, I will pass it on to Omega.
Did anyone go to Omega this week and want to give any updates?
Yeah. They are mostly focusing into topics. And one is the Consilience Library. That is a project to have like documents for side of the petals. Like a library for each side of the petals of the cryptoeconomic flowers. And they were also talking on the next focus group and producing a document to talk about the TE ethical principles. So yeah, they met on Wednesdays, and they meet on Wednesdays. And I think that one of the next focus groups would be leadership, because we saw that that's a really big topic that is not really well discussed in the space, but it's very important for these kind of organizations.
Thank you, Wonka. Omega is a critical piece of the TEC, and it's so nice to see them diving into all these philosophical and ethical issues that come along with token engineering. If you guys want to dive in and understand what's happening, 8 p.m. CET, did that already happen? I think so, right? Oh, man, time zones, I'm so confused.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Okay, cool. That was yesterday.
I will say this week we also did a deep dive into what exactly consent is, and the basic precept being that consent is crucial for ethics, and that was connected with the leadership discussion we were having on the back of Manu's work. So that's mostly what we talked about this time around.
Nice, super cool. And so dive in. Next one's November 10th, 8 p.m. CET, probably. Time zones, who knows? Okay, TEC Labs. Again, there's lots of times on this thing, and I'm so confused on time zones. So check your calendar and join these different groups if you can. Reward system research is going full steam on Fridays at 9 a.m. West Coast time. And you can see all the labs on YouTube. Praise Evolution is kind of in the same vein, and that happens on Thursdays at 4 p.m. in Europe, probably. And Governance is also happening. These are all great learning opportunities if you want to get deeper into the token engineering space. By the way, this is just a way to get your hands dirty that's open and inclusive. So the Governance Rewards Research Group are going. You can see there's kind of a theme here. There's a lot of effort going into the reward systems. How do we reward people who are contributing in a fair way? How do we track the quantitative and qualitative value that's being created by contributors? If you want to learn more about that, all three of these are good opportunities to dive in. There's also this DAO to DAO models workshop, which happens in the Prime DAO Discord. They're really working on this proposal inverter, this idea that you could make one proposal and then use it in multiple DAOs, and multiple DAOs could fund one project without having to go and apply to all the DAOs. Also, if you just want to learn more about how to use modeling in the token engineering sense, Token Spice is a modeling software that uses Python and is specifically built to model token economies. So it's very cool. That happens in the token engineering Discord. And also the Block Science open office hours and Longtail financial open office hours are just great times to hang out and talk token engineering with some of the experts in the scene. And with that, oh wow, we're running way short on time. So Comms, do you want to take it?
Yes, Griff. Thank you. We meet every Tuesday in Comms. Some of the stuff that we've been working on lately is the Params party season. We are trying to promote as much as we can the Params parties, where, as you know, we use the common configuration dashboard to come up with our economies. So we are supporting this with communication. We also have creative onboarding. So if you are new to the community and you're a creative, you're either a project manager, a graphic designer, social media manager, or animator, make sure you attend the orientation call and ping us after that, because we have a lot of stuff to do to help advanced token engineering. And also, we are working really hard in our team proposal, which is what the Commons Working Group is going to transition to after the Commons upgrade. So we're going to be having an advice process with stewards, and eventually we're going to have bounties. So make sure you talk to us because we're going to have a bunch of stuff to do. And with that, I'll pass it to transparency. Go ahead, Septi.
Thanks, Chuy. Yeah, on transparency, we meet every 2 weeks on Monday. So this following Monday, we have a call, and it would be so cool if we could have some engagement. I know Ivy is trying to push the transparency survey for the community. So yeah, it would be so nice if someone come join and take it on. And also, yeah, with Ivy, we were working on the offboarding for the credentials. We were brainstorming. It seems set it up. We're going to post it probably Monday for advice process. But yeah, basically we're making like a very easy, like not very bureaucratic offboarding process. So, you know, it's easy for everyone. And then, yeah, we're starting the debates on the multisig, the transparency of the multisig, and then we follow it on SoftGov and close it on the stewards. So, yeah, this issue is closed. And I think I'm not missing anything. Yeah, I mean, we're short on time, so I'll pass it to legal.
Yeah, I can take it for legal. There's really not much going on in legal, but we do want to make sure that everyone knows we need more legal experts. Please, if you know anyone who's interested in DAO legal things and wants to hang out and talk about the intricacies of like what kind of terms you need for a bonding curve or for proposals to DAOs, tell them to reach out, because Sean just got another job with a crypto organization, so we're going to be short on legal expertise. And we have a meeting every other Friday, and you can check the calendar. With Params, we are almost done. We're major praise to all the people who contributed to making the dashboard happen. It is in full force. config.tecommons.org. Come to some Param parties. They have their own calendar. I meant to delete that slide and use this one instead. It was way more fun and chaotic. There's so many Param parties. Major praise to Mitch for organizing and Chewy for making this calendar. There are 4 Param parties tomorrow at various times that are Asian and US friendly. So come on down. Also, look at all these Param parties next week. It's wild. And there'll be even more. So please consider opening up these slides and getting this calendar invite or checking. I'm sure that we'll tweet the calendar invite as well. That's the place to find out when all these parties are happening. And so with that, that's our call. Thank you all so much for coming. It's really been a pleasure. Come to some Param parties and let's design the Commons upgrade. What are we going to do with this $1.5 million? You decide.